So if there's only one thing that you take away from this video, is that your mindset matters. In this video, I'm going to share the one mindset shift that really transformed my part-time PhD journey, helping me not just survive, but truly thrive. It's the change that kept me going and brought me to this moment, literally counting down the days to my graduation. PhD life is always almost never glamorous. For me, it was like digging a hole in dry sand, kind of pointless and never ending. I would often find myself thinking that this PhD would never end, wondering how was I going to get myself out of it after investing so much time into this work. Never mind all the additional surprising tasks that would just continuously come on board, and I would have to somehow manage those as well. But after talking to several other PhD students, I've come to realize that this is quite normal and very common among PhDs. In many moments, I would feel quite defeated and really hopeless, to be honest. The to-do list felt infinite and my energy was definitely finite. And every setback felt like a sign that I should just give it up and just enjoy my life. But here's the truth. These are just the obstacles trying to teach you what you need to know to become who you need to be to achieve what you need to do. For me, the turning point wasn't traumatic. There were no fireworks, no epiphanies. It was just coming to this realization. Something had to change. This was not healthy and I was not going to survive how I was approaching my PhD. I was way too focused on the end goal, the dissertation, the graduation, the journal papers, all of that. That's when I discovered the power of focusing on the task in front of me and not letting myself getting weighed down with all the work that was up ahead. So there's always a question that I refer to. It's like, how do you eat an elephant? And the answer is simply spoon by spoon or mouthful by mouthful. And I love this analogy because it really is appropriate for a PhD, because you got this massive task ahead of you. And the only way you're going to get through it is by doing what you can do. And eating, you can only eat so much at a time. So take your time, chew your work, and you'll get through it one day. And this isn't a particularly positive or inspiring motivation for a lot of people, but it's really a mindset that helped me survive 8 very long years of part-time PhD work. So how does the saying, eat an elephant spoon by spoon, actually help you with your PhD? Well, let me give you an example. One of the toughest parts of the whole PhD journey is writing up the thesis. At this point, all the fun bits are gone. The cool ideas, concepts that you came up with, maybe in the beginning part, the research is done, and now you're just stuck with all the nitty-gritty parts of pulling it all together and finalizing it. I personally was very much over the whole drain of working full-time and then pouring all my soul into this PhD in any spare moment that I had. And facing the huge task of writing 60 to 80,000 words, which is roughly a teenage novel, was not something that I was looking forward to. This mindset shift really meant that I stopped wasting energy on thinking about how I was ever going to finish and focused it on doing productive output, like finishing a difficult section, or spending hours towards a draft that might eventually become a final version, or editing my words as I went along. This new mindset didn't just help me survive my PhD, it helped me rediscover why I started this PhD in the first place, which was to try and do more than what I thought I was capable of. I became more productive because I was focusing more on consistent progress rather than perfection. I even started to learn how to correctly prioritize and became very strategic with my mental and emotional energy. Another benefit was that my work-life balance definitely improved because I wasn't racing as hard as I could to the end, but I understood that this was a huge thing that is going to accompany me for a long time still, and that's okay. Simply accepting that this thing needs the time. This allowed me to be more present during work hours, during home hours, and also during the time that I set aside for working on the PhD. Though I still felt really guilty and I couldn't enjoy any time that I took off of working. If you're feeling stuck right now, here are the 3 things from this mindset that really helped me continue and make progress. These might also help you. Number 1, reframe the timeline. Over a long enough timeline, you will eventually get there. Also, acknowledge where you are today, accept you are where you are, and work from there. Rather than imagining yourself 2 chapters down the line, just let it go. You're not there. Work from where you are today. And if you do this, you can definitely finish that PhD elephant. Acknowledge the small wins. So each and every spoonful is a win. Whether it's making those hours that you sit down and actually doing some PhD work. And I personally did this in several ways. I tracked how many words I had towards my thesis. I created a scrum board of which chapter is in which state, draft, in progress, waiting for feedback, finalizing, and then finished. And I also had a calendar where I marked down upcoming deadlines, but also milestones of when what was done, when what was achieved. So publishing a journal article or finishing a chapter, I wrote that down because then I could look backwards and forwards to see how I'm making progress, which is really important. The third thing, which I probably could have done a lot better myself, is self-compassion. Self-compassion isn't just nice, it's necessary. The golden standard is like to try and think of yourself as a good friend that you're talking to. So when you have these internal conversations, try and think of it like, would you ever say these words to a good friend? If no, then maybe say other words to yourself. Because at the end of the day, you're doing something incredibly difficult, which a lot of people don't even attempt. And you need to give yourself that recognition. So on the days where you really feel like it's never ending story, just remember, a spoon by spoon. I want to leave you with this. Your PhD journey is uniquely yours. It's messy, it's challenging, and it definitely won't go according to plan. But it's incredibly worth it. It's an achievement that not many people will ever know. And changing your mindset is the first step forward on this journey of finding a way that really works for you. Changing your mindset is the first step towards embracing this long journey with all its highs and lows, and there are many lows. But at the end, trust me, that feeling of finally achieving your thesis or your PhD is so incredible. So if there's only one thing that you take away from this video, is that your mindset matters. It's not just about what you do in your PhD, it's about how you approach it. The challenges, the setbacks, the tough days, they don't define you. What defines you is how you respond to them. I hope this video has given you some sort of encouragement, maybe even a little bit of inspiration. If it has, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, you've got this. Keep going, and I'll see you in the next video.